Well. Things are getting worse for the Jaguars in this Urban Meyer controversy. What's going on, everybody? It's your observant lineman here, Uche, Nwaneri, and it's not looking good for your boy, Urban Meyer. The situation that gets even more dire in Jacksonville. The one thing that every coach is worried about when situations like this occur, not even like this, when situations that affect team morale occur, it's imperative that the head coach's response be one that actually builds his rapport with his team, with his players. Now, Urban Meyer's situation right now has gotten a whole lot worse. And I mean, it's bad on both fronts, obviously on the family side, but now we're getting reports on the football side of things that this is getting really bad. Now, first and foremost, let's take a look at this here. This is a statement from Shad, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He says, "I have addressed this matter with Urban. Specifics of our conversation will be held in confidence. What I will say is his conduct last weekend was inexcusable. I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. Now, he must regain our trust and respect. That will require a personal commitment from Urban to everyone who supports, represents, or plays for our team. I'm confident he will deliver." I will say that this here is typical PR spin. I mean, it would be really bad. It would be devastating to this organization for Shad Khan to come out and have to admit that he made a very big mistake in hiring Urban Meyer. So let's take a look at the timeline of Urban Meyer since he arrived in Jacksonville up to today. Let's take a look at the timeline here. It says he hired Chris Doyle as the team's director of sports performance. Doyle was accused of making racist comments and belittling players during his time at Iowa. After heavy backlash, Doyle resigned from the Jaguars. Signed Tim Tebow as a tight end. I mean, we all remember that. Drafted a running back in the first round despite already having James Robinson on the roster. He drafted Travis Etienne Jr., a first-round draft pick that was basically wasted. You could have got him in the second round. And on top of all that, not only did you draft him in the first round, but he's also done for the season with a Liz Frank injury, which almost certainly will shorten his overall career because that is an injury that is probably the most devastating injury that a running back can have. So he's already wasted and done. His potential substantially lower because of this injury. But that first round draft pick, yeah. Openly admitted that he was hoping to draft Kadarius Toney with the pick they used on Travis Etienne. So he didn't even want to draft Travis Etienne. He didn't even want to draft him. I said it. I said this shit the moment it happened, and nobody, well, I won't say nobody, the go-hards for the Jaguars, they criticized me criticizing that pick as if I don't understand how this shit works, as if I didn't play in the NFL for 7 years. I know when a team has a need at the offensive line position to protect their first overall pick, that should be the priority, right? Not a running back. And then we move from there. He goes, told reporters that they cut players due to their vaccine status. NFLPA opened an investigation into those comments. I didn't agree with him doing anything like that either. You don't cut players based on something that has nothing to do with football or doesn't have anything directly to do with football and their performance on the field. Whew. Had an open competition for starting QB between Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew. Minshew was traded a few weeks later, but split valuable first-team reps with Lawrence. Absolutely. All that stuff adds up. Traded away last year's number 9 overall pick. Team starts 0-4. Didn't travel with the team after their Week 4 loss to Cincinnati. Viral videos and photos emerge of him with a woman other than his wife. Owner releases a statement that Meyer must regain our trust and respect. That is the Urban Meyer timeline. Wow. They fell for the sexy pick instead of picking the practical one. I've said that since day one. They chose to go after a coach who has no experience on the highest level of football in any respect. This entire Urban Meyer experiment has been riddled with nothing but bad decisions and questionable just coaching acumen. There doesn't seem to be a ton of actual strategic knowledge in what works in football and building a team. Maybe that's because Urban Meyer has been a coach who's had the luxury and the privilege of being hired to teams that already had substantial advantages in talent over the opponents that they play against, Ohio State, Florida. So as far as team building goes, he has no experience in team building whatsoever on any level. But this statement here is a statement that has to mitigate the damage being done by this foolish man who is really aloof as to how to handle this situation. And there is no more proof of that than this thread here from Michael Silver. This is ugly. Let's go through it. Thread 1. Michael Silver says the Urban Meyer situation in Jacksonville has reached a crisis point, especially in the locker room. He's lost the locker room. There's nothing else to say about it. He's lost the locker room. He has zero credibility. Here we go. One player told me, quote, he has zero credibility in that stadium. He had very little to begin with. I've been saying this from the outset. Jaguars fans jumped down my throat for talking about this Urban Meyer hire and the effect that it's going to have on the players themselves, because it is just not compatible with what he's done and how he coaches. It's not compatible with the professional level. I've been hearing rumblings of this kind of stuff from reporters in Jacksonville for literally months that I've spoken with. He doesn't understand the NFL. These are grown men. These are not kids. You cannot enforce yourself over them. And yet he has tried to do that at every turn. Now, moving on in this thread, he says, second, players were particularly put off by the fact that Meyer canceled Monday's team meeting as he dealt with the uproar over the videos of him and a young woman getting cozy in that Ohio bar. He even, and this is a quote from a player, he even canceled the team meeting. He was too scared, a player said. Right there, that's all you need to hear. That's all you need to hear. As a player, the moment that I realized that this dude is scared to stand in front of a room full of men and admit he was wrong and apologize to them and be sincere about it and fall on his sword in front of us, he has nothing that he can talk to me about anymore at that point. I don't want to hear you say shit about anything about going on during plays. I don't want to hear you coaching up nothing, because you have no balls to even speak to us. You couldn't stand in front of us as the leader of the team and fall on your sword like you should have. In the third part of this thread, instead, Meyer only apologized to position groups individually. You know what kind of do you know what that looks like? You know what that looks like, to apologize to each position group? That means you're walking around the building into different rooms where there's only you canceled the team meeting where you could have did this one time and you decided, I'm going to go do this. What? You got the O-line, receivers, tight. I'm going to go do this 8 times or some shit. 6 or 8 times individually, so I don't have to deal with all these guys at one time. You know, it's crazy, because it's not about what he did to the players. The players really, they're not tripping on what he did. They're tripping on the principles that he claims to have that he violated in lieu of doing what's right and being with your team and leaving with your team, because you wouldn't allow a player to do something like that. A player would not have the grace to be able to stay on a team if they decided they weren't coming back after a game. They were going to stay in that city, and then they get caught on video messing with chicks that ain't they woman. Probably gone right after he didn't fly back with the team part. So if we don't get that grace and you do, then you need to own up to your mistakes. You need to stand in front of us like a man, look us in the eyes and tell us you fucked up. He couldn't even do that. He had to do it from the back of a room in a position meeting, which is really ridiculous. He portrayed the woman in the videos as a random person who was just there for dancing. Suffice it to say, his audience was highly skeptical. Yeah, because we don't believe that shit. Said one player. We looked at him like, what the fuck? Right when he left, everyone started dying laughing, and he knew it. Yeah, it's over. The locker room has officially labeled you as a clown. You are no longer a person who wields any amount of authority that is going to be actually like heeded to. Nobody gives a fuck about what you say now. Our position coaches are our guys now. That's the guy that's the only guy that we answering to. Bottom line, said the player, it's bad. I don't know how he's going to function. And right under that, my old teammate, George Reister. I've been saying this for a while now. See, this is the thing. Everybody who knows the NFL, who's been in the NFL, we all understand that this dude he's a joke. We saw this coming a mile away. And I'm telling you, people in Jacksonville, on my Facebook, they just went after me. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You ain't shit. Yada, 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 yada. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, you gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. You gonna see it. And when you see it, I will say I told you so. I told you so, Jacksonville. I told you the moment that they made the hire, this was not gonna end well. We ain't even midway through the season yet. There's a money pool on whether or not he makes it to the trade deadline. It's getting bad. It's getting really bad for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shad Khan, hey, he'll have a decision to make here soon enough, because I'm sure there is some kind of clause in his contract for this kind of thing, morality clauses that if you do some shit that causes a distraction and it's, and it turns into something like this, then we can get rid of your ass. So what do you guys think? Urban Meyer, has he lost the locker room? I personally believe he has. Has he lost the trust and credibility of the Jaguars organization? I personally believe he absolutely has. But leave your comments down below. Hit the like button if you like this video, and subscribe to the Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. I appreciate you guys very much for checking out my update on the Urban Meyer situation. Didn't think we'd still be going on about this, but it just looks like this snowball is turning into an avalanche. But I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.